Are you constantly going to the grocery store? I mean, like you go 3, 4, 5 times a week, maybe even go 7 days a week. That used to be me. And I can tell you what, it drove me crazy. And even before I had kids, I was going all the time. And the reason I was going all the time was because I was not prepared to grocery shop. So I'm gonna tell you how I prepare to grocery shop. So I only have to grocery shop once a week and it lasts all week, and it saves me time, it saves me money, and it saves me brain space. Those 3 things are absolutely huge for me because 1, we all want more time in our day. 2, we all want to save money. And 3, the older you get, the more brain space you need because the more clutter that's around and going on, the more it takes up in your brain. And who needs that? Especially if you're like going through perimenopause. I mean, you have brain fog, so you know what I'm talking about. So I want to show you how I prepare to grocery shop, and I only go once a week. A few years ago, I started meal planning, and honestly, I had to do something. I was overwhelmed. I felt like I was drowning. I was tired of running to the grocery store multiple times a week. I was tired of cooking just about every day. I was just tired and exhausted, and I was cranky, and that affects my family. So simply by starting to meal plan, we have seen so many positive changes in it, and I cannot tell you enough. If you don't meal plan, you really need to start. But let me tell you how I meal plan and how I make my grocery list. I look at our calendar, I look at what days we have a late night or what's busy, what days I have time to cook, what days I either need to do a crock pot meal or leftovers. Honestly, I hated leftovers. I've had them growing up. I never really liked them as an adult. I eat leftovers all the time. In fact, the day I'm recording this, we are having leftovers for dinner because we had a shift in our schedule and I needed something easy for tonight and easy for tomorrow night because I have to drop kids off and pick up kids, and my husband has a meeting at church tonight. So I use leftovers multiple times a week. Do not be afraid to use them. So when I go to start what I'm eating for the week, what we're eating, I look in my pantry, my freezer, and my fridge. I want to see what we already have on hand. From what we already have on hand, I then start my meal plan. So if we have rice on hand, great. We can have rice these 2 nights. If we have chicken in the freezer, we can have chicken this night. If we have salmon in the freezer, I'm like, great, we can have it this night. I meal plan with what we have, and then I fill in every other meal. And I say, okay, we're out of eggs, or I only have 4 eggs left. I need to get a couple dozen eggs. I need fruit because we eat a lot of fruit in our house. So I'm going to get bananas, strawberries, grapes, plums, you name it, we probably eat it. Then I make sure we have a lot of salad on hand because we eat a lot of salad. Once I have all of that done, I put it into my meal plan calendar and I make my grocery list. And this is what I think can save moms or even dads so much time at the grocery store, is if you know what grocery store you're going to, make your list for how it is in your grocery store. So the example I'm going to show you is my list from Trader Joe's because that's where I was going. And I always hit their produce section first, and then they have some of their dry goods and olive oils and spices on that side. So all that is at the top of my grocery list. And I literally do it that way. That way I'm not missing anything on my list. If I am, then I'm then I have to go back to get it in the grocery store. And Trader Joe's is usually busy, so not the easiest and the best thing to do to go back and find out what you're looking for. I also don't buy anything that I don't have a plan for. So I'm not gonna randomly pick something off a shelf and put it in there. I wanna know what I'm using that item for because I don't want extra items. And I'll tell you, the one time I did this, it was a salad dressing. We had 5 bottles of the same type of salad dressing in our pantry, and we didn't need that many. I mean, we use it, but not that many. So make sure if you're grabbing something you know for a fact you do not have it at home. That is why it's important to make a grocery list. And I know moms that buy ketchup all the time, and they end up with 3 open bottles of ketchup inside their fridge, plus they have some in their pantry. We don't eat ketchup, so I don't have that problem, but we all have those things that we tend to buy because in the back of our head, we think we need them when we really don't. So make that list from what you have already on hand and what you need. After I make my list of everything that I need and I map it out per the grocery store, I then put it on my phone. I write it on a piece of paper and then I transfer it to my phone. Sometimes I do it directly on my phone, but if you're writing it down on paper, transfer it to your phone because you're gonna have your phone with you and you can use your grocery list from there. After I am grocery shopping, if I get like my bananas, I'll cross them off, or if I have like bananas, peppers, grapes on there, I'll cross them all off at the same time. This makes sure I know I'm getting everything I want. But I'm telling you, map out your grocery shopping for how your store is laid out. It will save you time and it will help you to remember everything. The third thing I do is I stock up on the items I know we go through a lot. We eat yogurt just about every day in our house, and I get my kids the individual yogurts, and I know they're a little bit more money than just buying them a container, but they all like so many different yogurts, and plus when they dish them out, they make a bigger mess. That's this way, if they just have the individual ones, it's easier for them to grab. I don't have to follow up and make sure that they're not making a mess. I eat individual yogurts and yogurt containers. So we go through a lot of yogurt. We also go through a lot of almond milk because we do a lot of protein shakes in our house. Not just me, my husband, but our kids love protein shakes. So that is something I stock up on. I also buy for double recipes. So if I know I'm having chicken one night, I'm gonna buy enough chicken to last us usually 3 nights, because we might do it 2 nights for dinner and then 1 day for lunch. We eat a lot of chicken in our house. So stock up on those items that you go through a lot. If you eat a lot of broccoli, buy a lot of frozen broccoli. Maybe buy fresh for that week, then buy frozen for later in the week. I like to have a full freezer and a full fridge so I don't have to keep running to the store. So sometimes things happen. You might buy fresh vegetables and it might go bad quicker than you hoped it would be, and you have that backup in the freezer. Then after we grocery shop, the last thing I do is I prep food for the week. And you can spend 15 minutes prepping, you can spend an hour, you can spend 2 hours. If you have a really crazy week, spend longer. If you have a little bit more time to cook, then maybe you're only gonna spend an hour, maybe you're only gonna spend 30 minutes. But here are the things that are my must that I have to prep every week. We have to cut up fruits and veggies, and my husband and my daughter helps me with that, and that's great, because they can do that while I'm doing something else. So if you come to our house on a Sunday, you're gonna see the kitchen full with people. We actually started a kind of a newer routine that we're still figuring out a few things, but it all is about meal prepping and everyone getting involved. So it's always me in the kitchen, and then my husband comes for part of the time, my oldest daughter comes from part of the time. My son has taken on washing the dishes as we put them in the sink, or loading them and putting them in the dishwasher. He loves to wash dishes, he does a great job, so that's his job. And my youngest daughter will come in either when my husband's not in the kitchen or my oldest daughter's not in the kitchen, so she can meal prep something. We all have what we're kind of in charge of meal prepping. My youngest, when she's here, she meal preps usually 1 breakfast and 1 snack. My oldest daughter will do lunches because she likes to cook more. So get your family involved. And I'm telling you, even if you're not married and you don't have kids, do it with your spouse. It is so much fun. There are days that it's just me and my husband in the kitchen, and we laugh, we sing, we just have a good time. So meal prepping, don't look at it as a chore, look at it as how it's going to help you for this week. In fact, it saves me so much time. We make breakfasts ahead of time so my kids can grab their own breakfast in the morning. We even started portioning the fruit out in a bowl so they can just grab that bowl of fruit. So it's one less thing they have to do in the morning, and it makes their life easier and it makes our life easier. Then I use the food that we prep on Sunday for those busy days. So whatever we prep Sunday is usually going to be used for Monday night and then Wednesday night. And their breakfast, I do something that they can eat right away, and then I freeze something for the end of the week. And I meal prep snacks. And if you're not a baker and you don't want to meal prep snacks, you don't have to. Fill a snack bin so your kids know where their snack is. We have 2 snack bins for our kids so they know they can go grab a snack from there. And I prep them about every other week. I make sure that they're full. If I notice they're getting empty, I'll put the back stock of stuff in there. But then we have a drawer, and half of the drawer is for them. It's for their yogurts, it's for apple juice, it's for cheese sticks, it's for little overnight oats, anything that they can grab, and I don't have to say, hey, yeah, you can have a snack. They know that they can go in that drawer and grab their afternoon snack. To recap, this is how I grocery shop once a week, and it lasts me all week. I plan. I want to know what we're having for every meal. I shop. I make a list that's very thorough that says everything we need, and I map it out per how the grocery store is laid out. I know Costco can be a little tricky with that because I feel like they change stuff all the time. And then number 3 is I prep. I want to make sure we have food ready for the week because I want to make my life easier. I want more time to do what I enjoy, and I don't want to be in a kitchen all the time. Even though I do like to cook and bake, I don't want to spend my days in the kitchen. I've already done that when I had a bakery. And when you're planning your meals, just keep them simple and stress-free. You're not a professional chef. Well, maybe you are, but you don't have to cook like a professional chef. You can make meals simple. I can tell you one of our favorite meals is grilled chicken salads. My kids love them. We could eat them like twice a week and no one would complain. And if you want more strategies on how to simplify your life, check out the link in the description below for Simplifying the Chaos. I am telling you, this program is where we work one-on-one to help simplify your home, and we create routines and rhythms that work for you because your family is different than my family, but we will create those routines to work for you.